Welcome back, friend. I hope you've navigated through all of the strengths, all of the line values in those strengths, so that you can pull out all of the resume and copywriting information that you need to based off of your own human design body graph. This is how we build out your purpose-driven wealth formula. It is by seeing what we are and then moving forward from there. So now let's take a look at skills. Every business needs to have these 12 skills built into it to have material success. Now, your solopreneur is most likely not going to have all 12 of these skills. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that. These skills are extrapolated from the human design body graph, and we call this penta energy is what we call this. But these skills are from the middle of the human design body graph. And we're going to extrapolate this, look at this, and then I'm going to give you some examples of it so that you can understand it. So when we come to skills, skills really are utilized in small businesses. So we have between 3 and 9 people. However, if you are a solopreneur, it's important to know this, know what you have and what you don't have in your human design body graph, as in activations inside of there, so that you know what is consistent for me or what is not consistent. What might I need to hire out? What is it that I'm missing? And then maybe in your solopreneur, you can recognize some of these things and go, now I see why I have so much difficulty with it. Now it's just to bring other people in, bring in a coach, bring in, maybe it is virtual assistants, maybe it's onboarding for sales, whatever that is. You get to hire it out and then bring it into your business, because now you'll be able to see these 12 skills and be able to organize it. So if you have the 15th gate, you have this aspect of reliability. So when you come into a small group between 3 and 10 people, what you're doing, the energy that you're bringing to that group is one that has to pull the diversity and extremes of the group into a cohesive and reliable group. It's like you come along and you're the glue. You bring this glue of reliability. Now, if you don't have this, then what you're doing is you're gaining the wisdom about it. You're able to watch that person that has that reliability factor built right into them in small groups. Now, if we're looking at this from a solopreneur kind of view, know that maybe you're not always going to be reliable in your own business. And that's okay. So it's being able to see it and go, okay, so maybe if you're going to be doing a webinar and it's just you, pull in a virtual assistant, somebody to help you with that cohesion, that glue, to allow you to have this glue so that people come into your webinar. So we can always hire these things out for particular events or particular workshops or webinars or whatever it is. We can always hire this stuff out. Then when we move into the 5th gate, that's culture. So if you have the 5th gate in your personal body graph, you bring an inner culture or this inner customs to a small group. This is the ability to establish the inner life or of the office or the team through like dress code, times of meetings. It basically is a shared set of assumptions that defines appropriate behavior for various situations. It is the customs. So there's going to be a particular set of behaviors. I don't have this, I don't have the 15, and I don't have the 5. So in small organizations, in small businesses, somebody else would have to show up with the reliability and the inner customs and the culture of it. And then what I would notice is that I would begin to entrain to that energy because they are bringing it. And that's not a bad thing. We always think that conditioning is a bad thing. As long as we're being utilized well, as long as we are having our own skills or our communication or our strengths pulled out of us, then we're being utilized well. And the conditioning, so for example, that reliability and that customs, I worked at a financial institution and I wore pantsuits every day. I don't wear pantsuits anymore. There isn't even one of those in my closet anymore. It was a culture or an inner custom to dress that way because that was the assumption. I don't do that anymore. So I was conditioned by it, but it was appropriate because my skills were being utilized and I had responded to being in that organization. Coordination of the 46. This is the ability to stabilize the group into a cohesive functioning unit. So this is the team's frequency. This is where we work together effectively. So if you have the 46, you're bringing this coordination to the group where we can work together and bring this effective energy to the organization. The 29, this commitment, it's all about loyalty. So this is the ability to help the group commit to a goal and achieve it. This is a sense of belonging for the members of the group. So there's a loyalty here. I have this 29, this commitment. So once I'm locked in through the energy of my energy resource and I'm moving and making decisions from there, I have loyalty until I no longer have the energy through my energy resource and that energy is no longer there. I'm not making the commitment. It's time to be loyal somewhere else. So if you have any of this, recognize this in small groups. You know, I'm pretty loyal to myself, this commitment. I'm pretty loyal to those people that I bring into my organization. I am also, and I've always been loyal to those places that I worked at. Until no longer was I being utilized correctly. And then my energy resource would say, nope, we're no longer loyal here because our battery's being drained instead of replenished. Now let's take a look at capacity. Capacity is all about resources. This is the ability to attract and generate resources that helps the business thrive. All too often, I see so many projectors that do not have this in their body graph. This 14, they work on their own and they feel like they're never making enough money. What's really important is to hire out this energy so that it can be brought into your business. For example, I bring the 14 and all the time, people are asking me for my loyalty and they're asking me for my resources. That has happened my whole life. And resources not only is money, but it is time commitment and the capacity to be there to help the business thrive. The 2 is about material direction. This is the vision. This is the ability to establish the direction for the business. It points the best way to spend the money that is generated. So these bottom six, so if you have a small organization, So say you're a solopreneur and you're going to, you know that you're going to start bringing in virtual assistants or some kind of help, or maybe you have a product. So you need somebody to help you market it and do all that. Pay attention to these skills, because if you can have all 12 of these skills in your business, it's going to be more materially successful. They'll have an ease to the movement of it. Okay, now let's take a look at the next 6. So once we have the reliability, the culture, we have the coordination, the commitment, the capacity, and the vision, then we can move into how do we get that out to the world? How do we have this really, really powerful team of people? And now how do we get our product and service out into the hands of the people that we need it to be in? Well, first, there needs to be this implementation of the first gate, or the presentation. So this is the ability to get the product or service out the door and into the hands of the customers. This is the full capacity and vision put into creative action so the business can be visible, seen, and experienced by the client. So this implementation is this presentation of it. So the presentation might be the sales pages, testimonials, the implementation of getting this product or service into the hands of others. Then we have the PR. This is demonstration. So this is the ability to get noticed and attract necessary attention. This is where your story is told to attract the necessary clients. So this PR, this demonstration of this, I see this PR person as, I go to Costco, I shop at Costco, and Costco always has food demonstrations. So this is about try it, test it out. This is the PR person that is standing there with the product, demonstrating it, providing the demonstration so that the clients can purchase that product. And then we have planning, which is the 7th gate. So this is the ability to move forward successfully into the future through planning, research and development, and having the right people doing the right work. This is all about future structuring. That's what the 7 does. 31 is about administration. So this is organization. So this is the ability to put the plan that the 7 put it into action by making sure everyone fills the roles and does the work necessary, and the organization stays on top of things. We need to be able to administer, be organized, move us into the future. Because if there is no future planning, for nobody's paying attention to the trends, let's say, and you're Blockbuster, and you're not paying attention that everybody started streaming videos and movies over YouTube and Netflix. You weren't watching it, and you thought, that's just a flash in the pan, and bang, you're out of business. That's what planning and administration has to take a look at. What are the trends, and how do we move into the future to stay viable? And then when we look at accounting, 31, this is the record keeper. Having that record keeping. This is the ability to know how profitable the business is. Keeping track of the numbers and the details to keep you informed as the health of the business. And then oversight. This is the guidance that we get from that trial and error. What happened in the past? What did we learn? This is the ability to oversee the entire operation and make sure everything's running smoothly. This is the eyes and the ears that oversee clients and employees. The role of the gatekeeper, maintaining the integrity and security of the company's numbers, information, and problems that are kept on the inside. This is what has happened in the past. So now how can we record it and create and implement an oversight for it so that we can move into the future? That's why you have managers. That's why you have layers of managers. One oversees the other, who oversees the other, who oversees the other. All right, let's just take a look at this for example charts. So here what we have an express builder, but they don't have any of those skills present. So can they have a business? Can they have a successful career? How do they show up with their skills and talents and abilities? Well, theirs are going to look differently. Their intrinsic skills, that is something that's going to be inconsistent with them. So it's not about getting locked into a skill for this particular person. It's about being a manager of the human resources department is really where this person is going to shine. So it isn't about locking into a particular skill. It'll be a lot about relying on others to present these skills and bring that energy to a group. Now, could this particular being do those skills? Could they be an accountant per se? Let's just say that, recording the past, having an accountant. Could they be somebody who's on the committee for gaining wisdom and vision for the organization? Could this person help with getting resources for the business? Yes, yes, yes. However, without having those intrinsic skills, they're probably not going to love it, to get locked into one of those skills that may or may not be a benefit to them. It's all about, for this person, respond and then come to clarity. For myself, I have 3 skills, but large groups are not the best place for me. We're going to talk about this when we get to environmental style, okay? So what we just looked at here, partnership and large groups. So this person isn't going to love being in a small group. I don't love being in small groups, but I do get pulled in because I have those skills. Like I said, I bring in this loyalty. I help people with their resources, and then I can demonstrate things. I demonstrate things all the time. And it's about that PR. So I don't have I don't have all 12 of the skills. So I hire that out. And bring that into my small business so that there can be material success in my small business. Now, if we were to look here, this person has a full channel. So small groups are good for them. So take a look at your chart. It will indicate your environmental style. Now, it always depends on your decision making. If it's correct, it'll be the group will pull you in. If it's not correct, then you don't have to move into a group just because it says small group. But you'll be more comfortable with that. There'll be this ability, people will be able to work efficiently and have loyalty when you're around. Then you'll have this capacity within you to utilize your resources for the business and then sell it and be that organizational administrative being inside that small organization. Let's take a look at here. That's what I wanted to look at. So you have somebody here who they don't have the centers defined, but they do have a 1 and they have a 5, and they're dormant. So these people have that skill. Personally, it's dormant, but this particular person always gets pulled in to an organization to begin to implement and get the product into the hands of those that need it. So they get pulled in to network and sell the product and service. And they create the inner customs. But personally, what's so important is that this particular being follow the decision-making strategy. because they can get exhausted in small groups because they don't have the energy resource. So if you're a manifester / innovator, projector, advisor, or a reflector evaluator, small groups can create a lot of exhaustion. So be really cognizant of your decision-making strategy so you know the correct group. And never, ever, ever be afraid to step out of a group if there is exhaustion happening. And then we look at this particular advisor. Again, resources. Resources are not only monetary, but they're time and energy commitments. So all of a sudden, this advisor gets locked into a group and they become exhausted because they're doing all the work. They're using all their capacity to help the vision. And they're tired. They're out there, they're selling, they're schlepping on the sidewalk, trying to get the product or service into the hands of who needs it. And they are absolutely exhausted. And they are accounting, they're doing all this paperwork all day long, and they're tired. So it's about, is this the correct group? If it is, you'll be able to move in and out of the group and never have to be exhausted. And then our reflectors, well, our reflectors are never going to have the energy resource to find. But this particular being is always going to get pulled into small groups. 6 out of the 12 skills are present. So it really is, provide yourself with a full 28 days before you make an assessment of whether or not it is correct for you to go into and work in a small group. Mostly reflectors it's important for them to be in a solo work area. However, as you can see, it's important as well to pay attention to the skills that need to be brought in and outsource always. Advisors, outsource. Innovators, outsource. Manifesting generators, express builders, outsource. Classic builders, outsource. Never be afraid to ask for help. We are not on this island alone. So bring in who you need to so that, let's just go back here, so that your business can have all of those skills present. So personally, you'll most likely never have all 12 of these. I have never seen anybody with all 12 of these activations, ever. So if it's just you're in your solo entrepreneur, you want to build your solo entrepreneur, know what you have and what you don't have. What you have is a skill. It's intrinsic in you. You may not love it, but that ability to do it will come easier. If you don't have it, it's something you can gain wisdom about. However, you may or may not love it because it's something that you've had to gain wisdom about. So for example, for me, accounting, I can do books. I don't love it though. However, teaching a bookkeeping course lights my fire because I'm teaching. So I'm using my strengths, which is the 2145. That's all about teaching. I use that strength. And then whatever the material is. I can teach it. So that's how you want to weave this stuff. Maybe planning is something that you don't have in your human design at all. However, maybe you have lots of logical activations. Maybe you have a very strategic mind and a very focused view. And all of a sudden, you love to plan. You love it. You love helping businesses write their business plans, create future projections. You love to do that. Excellent. Because you've gained the wisdom of it, and it's utilizing other aspects of your individual body graph. So it's not that you can't do it if it's not in your body graph or if it's not in your business. I'm not saying that your business is going to fail. Just saying it's going to be more challenging. So if you're forcing yourself to do something and it isn't in continuity with your particular body graph, it can get difficult. So definitely, whatever you can hire out, do it. Help yourself out and do it, and do what you love, do what you're good at, use your strengths in ways that enhance your life. All right, we'll do lots of conversations on this for sure.